Hello everyone! This is Shadow Frost 316.7 and today we are going to be doing an amazing modification. So I've had my Game Boy Pockets for a little while now, and as you can see, it's a little bit hard to play on them. I kind of have to strain my eyes sometimes. So let's fix that. I'm going to be using my trusty Xiaomi toolkit, and I got this really amazing screen modding kit from AliExpress. It's actually really good. I'm really happy with it. It comes with the LCD, new screen protector thingy, a shield, I guess, if you happen to break yours out, and with the chips to connect it to the power and everything. I'm going to be using the tri-wing screwdriver to begin. We're just going to be taking the 6 screws off of the back of the Game Boy Pocket. Keep in mind that 2 of the screws are underneath the batteries here, so don't forget about those. This is actually a really easy system to take apart. There are only about 9 screws total to take out, so highly recommend starting with the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Pocket if you're getting into modding retro consoles, or handhelds, I should say. Or it's just a little bit dirty right there, so I think I'm going to clean that up with some rubbing alcohol, that corrosion, and we will continue to open this bad boy up. And over here we're using a Phillips head, just a regular Phillips head, to take the 3 screws on the lower half of this motherboard type thing off. Really simple, really easy. Now, if you want to take out the ribbon cable that connects to the screen first, all you have to do is slide the 2 white latches up top forward, like away from the board, and it should come right out. Mine was a little bit stuck in, so I had to give it a bit of a tug. Look at that disgusting mess. I don't know if that's roach debris or what, but we are cleaning that, I swear. Lift up the previous screen without having to break it. You just have to lift it up from the bottom and it should come right off. It may be a little bit stuck because of the adhesive, but it should be fine. So over here, I'm just putting the LCD in to check and see if it fits with the screen. I recommend having a marker or something to score the bottom of the plastic of the case in. You can't really see it right here because my entire hand's covering the case, but you have to cut your Game Boy Pocket shell. Just where it holds the screen, at the bottom, you're really supposed to put it all the way up to the top right corner, and then you cut the bottom right corner and you cut the left corner up to where it needs to go. So you really only have to mark the left and it should work just fine. I recommend getting a pair of side cutters like these. Very useful. Made the job super easy. Much easier than I thought it was going to be, for real. So as you can see here, just putting it up in the top right corner, marking how far it goes in the rest of the Game Boy Pocket case, and then we're just gonna snip and snip, and then we're just gonna wrench it out. I also sanded it down, but that's off camera. And over here, I'm just cleaning up some of the debris that was down there. There was this orangey red debris. It looked like rust, but it might have just been like leftover flux. I'm not sure. But we're cleaning that up today. I find with spiky areas like that, instead of using just the regular cotton swabs, using a toothbrush with the rubbing alcohol works so much better. I'm just adding the new adhesive that comes with the kit. It's really good adhesive. I didn't really need it because the adhesive from my previous build was totally fine, but I wanted to have that extra layer of a gap between the screen and the screen protector. I just like having that there, just in case. And I also wanted it to just, you know, vibe really well. I just wanted it to be really stuck in. Didn't want it moving around at all, so I just put it in. It's a little bit tricky to figure out how you're going to place these ribbon cables, but what you want to do is you put the ribbon cable in for the screen so that the board is upside down when you slide it in, almost. And then the piece that connects to the motherboard for the power, which I just put in right there, goes when it's right side up. And we're really supposed to be putting it in now and then soldering it later, but I actually decided to solder in that power wire initially. You have to solder it into the battery. Don't forget the touch sensor if you'd like that. In the very top right corner, it's really hard to see on the screen. I'm really sorry about that, guys, but there's this very tiny latch, and you put the touch sensor in there, and it just slides right in. Piece of cake. And now for the hard part, the hardest part of this build, soldering. It's really hard, it's really scary to solder when you're a new person, when you're new to it, you're not used to it. You want to solder the wire into that part of the board, right there. So we're just gonna heat up the soldering iron for a little while, and you're gonna see me try forever to solder this, because it just didn't want to happen. The part that we're soldering actually goes to one of the batteries, and that's what's really going to power on the screen, and it's also going to work to charge the touch sensor as well. So it's really, really important that you do this step. Do not skip this step. I recommend doing this before you get everything nice and compact and tightly put together, but you know, some people might do it differently. I'm doing it this way because I think it's so much easier to put things like neatly after you've done all your soldering. My opinion, okay? For real though, guys, I have to replace my soldering iron so badly, I swear. Where I'm just adding some more flux and hoping to God that helps. With the soldering, I feel like it did help a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure if it actually did. I really have to replace my soldering iron because it said that it was at 450 degrees Celsius, but it still wasn't really working. It wasn't really making the metal melt at all. And it was just becoming a problem. All the solder I would try to solder on would just be turning into little balls of hardened metal immediately. You know? Kind of annoying. Finally, thank the Lord. So now I'm just going in and cleaning up all that extra flux with some rubbing alcohol. You do not want that stuff just sticky left over. It's just not a good vibe. So make sure to clean up your flux. I was also really worried, because of how hard it was to solder, that the wire would come out really easily if it got jostled. So I just took some electric tape and just put it over the top of it. I've seen a lot of other people use other types of tape to do that, as well as putting tape in between the new chip and the motherboard to make sure nothing short circuits. But I think that it'll be fine with just that little bit of tape. As you can see, it's a really intuitive process, and I really enjoyed it, so I'll let you guys go back to watching the rest of the build. Give this a little bit more of a fair comparison, I've got my SP out here, and we're going to test and see how it stacks up against the Game Boy SP. I showed you guys the overhead, but you couldn't really see anything because the angles of my webcam. So, excuse the hiccup. So, we'll just turn that on, and we'll just turn this one on. And all the sound is off, but we can see that the picture quality is pretty comparable, especially if I just do, I put it on red, maybe you'll see the picture quality is pretty comparable. Okay, I'm gonna turn down the volume. So the volume still works. The contrast wheel does not seem to do anything right now. To change the brightness levels, just quick tap. Change the colors, long tap. So we've got green and white. Got red and white. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. We've got yellow and red, which I think I might like the most. We've got black and white, which looks really, really nice. And if you're more of a traditionalist, we got that pea green. So this is so crisp, you guys. Like, this is so crisp. Like, I really like the way this looks. Comparing this to, if I could just slide this in now and find a way, you'll be able to see, comparing this to the other one, there really is no comparison. This is just so nice to see, so nice to look at. I think I actually want to see how this looks in this one. Oh, so we've got green, dark green, red, yellow, and I think I might like this one the most. It really lends to a really good picture. I don't know if you guys can even really see this properly on the screen because of, you know, just the way everything looks on my camera. My camera might be making it look so much more bright than it actually is. So, do I recommend this mod? Do I recommend turning this into this? You know, honestly, if you don't care about your Game Boy Pocket being in original condition, if you really don't care about that, or if you have another one lying around, a spare one, I absolutely recommend doing this mod. This mod, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play more Game Boy games with this mod now, because this is just so much easier to play, just with how nice this looks. I absolutely recommend doing this modification. And I think I'm actually really surprised by how bright it is. How bright it is and how much the color really pops on the color palettes. The fact that it could compete with my SP, that alone is amazing. That is amazing to me. So, I do recommend it. I will be leaving a link for this kit down in the description below. It is a really, really easy kit to put into your Game Boy Pocket. This was so easy and intuitive. The hardest part about it was just soldering the wire that powers it all to the wire on the board. But I think that is literally because I got my soldering iron from AliExpress. It's really cheap, and I think it doesn't really work so well because it doesn't really keep the solder liquid for more than like a second. And it took forever to solder. It shouldn't take that long. So, I'll be putting that link in the description below. If you guys like this modification and you'd like to see any other modifications to any other retro systems, please let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll look into doing some of those mods. Sounds like a good project for me. I'm really interested in that. If you would never defile your Game Boy Pockets like this, let me know too. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear why. Maybe I've just committed a carnal sin. I do have the screen from the original Game Boy Pocket, and it is in perfect condition, so I might even just sell this to somebody that I know who has a retro store in Israel, so they'll be able to replace any broken screens. But it's been chill. Thank you so much for watching till the end, you guys. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great day. Okay, bye!